everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tombstone Tourist. Today, I'm in Sanford, North Carolina. We're going to be visiting the final resting place of one of NASCAR's most popular independent drivers. Come join me as we visit the grave of J.D. Mcduffie. The Buffalo Cemetery is a really large cemetery, but we're able to find the final resting place of J.D. Mcduffie almost all the way in the back of the cemetery here in this small outdoor mausoleum. And as you come into the opening here, first grave site, or the first tomb, is that of J.D. Mcduffie. J.D. was one of the most popular independent drivers on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit. He was born December 5th, 1938 here in Sanford, North Carolina, and was a lifelong resident of this area. J.D. was about 10 years old when he attended his first race over at the Bowman Gray Speedway in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Soon after that first race, he started racing go-karts, selecting the number 70 that he would use for his entire career. J.D. made his first NASCAR Grand National Series start in 1963 at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. J.D. never was on the list to have a factory sponsor, and he operated his entire career and his entire race team on a shoestring budget. In 1971, J.D. won his only pole. He led the field to the green flag in the 1971 Delaware 500 at Dover, Delaware. J.D. continued racing, mainly with local sponsors, ones like Rumpel Furniture Company, but his car number 70 always seemed to make the field, and he always went home with a paycheck. During his 28-year racing career, he's competed in over 650 races, finishing in the top 10 106 times, but he never won. On August 11, 1991, J.D. Mcduffie died as a result of injuries he received in a crash at the Watkins Glen International Speedway in Watkins Glen, New York. He was 52 years old. If you're a NASCAR fan, especially a Winston Cup fan back when the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company was the title sponsor of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, J.D. was one of my favorite independents. There was a number of drivers that never reached the big time, never enjoyed big sponsorships. J.D. was one of them. If you have a favorite independent driver from back in the 60s and 70s and early 80s, back from the Winston Cup days, let me hear from you in the comments. You know, there was a number of people like J.D., Jimmy Smut Means, James Hilton, Connie Saylor. Those guys never tasted victory lane, but they were always in the field and always went home with a paycheck. And they helped make NASCAR what it was. So So if you have any stories about these independent drivers, the ones without the big time sponsors, leave me a comment. I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say. There's another NASCAR pioneer resting in this cemetery, and I had no idea where he was buried. So as I was leaving the cemetery and the mausoleum where J.D. Mcduffie was resting, I was driving kind of slow, looking for a headstone, and I found 2 or 3, and then I found the final resting place of Herb Thomas. Herb Thomas was born on April 6, 1923, here in Sanford, North Carolina. He was one of the early pioneers of NASCAR, beginning his racing career in the mid-1940s. He entered his first NASCAR race in 1949, racing a Hudson Hornet at the old Charlotte Speedway out on Wilkerson Boulevard. And a few years later, he competed in the first Daytona 500 that was won by Lee Petty. Herb Thomas finished 12th. Herb won twice on the NASCAR circuit, first in 1951 at Martinsville, and then again in 1953 at the Southern 500 in Darlington, South Carolina. He retired from competition following the 1962 Gwen Staley 400 at the North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. In retirement, he returned home to Sanford, North Carolina. He died on August 9, 2000, after suffering a heart attack. Herb Thomas, one of the early pioneers of NASCAR. Well, I'm going to end this video here in Sanford, North Carolina. I hope you found something interesting as we visited the final resting place of NASCAR drivers J.D. Mcduffie and Herb Thomas. If you did, please give me a thumbs up below. And if you want to keep up with all of my travels, be sure to ring that bell and subscribe. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you down the road. So long, everyone.